All right, let's see what's on the bottom here. Oh, a little bit of tumultuous communication. This has been coming up for a number of the signs this month. So there's a little bit of static in communication. So it also can mean feeling trapped or having undue attention that you're really not comfortable with. Can mean, stage fright, stuff like that. But for the most part, it means a little bit of static in communication, being misunderstood, or feeling tension within communication. So let's start at the beginning. This is the 6. It's upside down, so it does feel like you have been a little bit of adrift for a while. Upside down, you probably were pretty clear on where your next step was coming. It can stand for something you expected to happen that didn't happen. So you're kind of back at square one. So this could be a business dealing. This could be, a trip or an arrangement that didn't happen. But it looks like something that you were pretty clear that you were floating into was kind of snatched back. And now it looks like you have to create plan B. So it does look like something that you look like it was pretty much a go, kind of the last minute, 11th hour, changed. So you may have to float a little bit more, put some more feelers out there to figure out a different avenue to resolve this. It does feel more like business, could be with a contract or an agreement that didn't come through. It is feeling like you'll have to float a little bit and maybe choose different avenues, plan B, maybe even plan C. So what crosses you is the Emperor, and the Emperor is like the most exalted card, and usually he stands for taking the high road. It stands for when all else around you are, either gossiping or stealing or the lower level issues, lying, things like that. You take the high road. You know what is right and what is wrong. So, you have a moral compass is what it is. Have a moral compass. But it looks like having the moral compass may have crossed you in this endeavor. Having, being distinctly aware of what is right and what is wrong sometimes cramps other people's style. And it may have been that something was really out of pocket and out of line with honesty, and that you put the brakes on this either project or agreement, that it didn't feel right to you. So this is really a validation of that choice of taking the high road, doing it either by the book or how it's supposed to be done, taking the moral high ground when all around you do not, is what this stands for. The Page of Wands here, this can be children, this can be messages. Wands usually are action, and wands can be messages of importance or work or even international travel. This is kind of right next to the floating card here, so you may have really embraced doing some international travel this year. You may be saving for it, or you may have just come home from it, but it does look like international travel and messages of more positive nature, of an important nature, I should say, of an important nature. I think this has to do with your work. This is not so much about kids, but I do feel that the 2 pages here, which are the children cards right next to the Empress. So for those of you that are trying to avoid pregnancy or embrace pregnancy, that may be something that's coming in the future. What is in the past is the 2, finding your balance, kind of opening the world to your choices. This legacy key is lighting up for me. So it looks like you have changed some legacy behaviors. This could be addictions for many of you, alcoholism, drug addictions. It could be even codependent behavior, but you've been either looking at it or changing it, being active in changing it. Some behaviors and some things that you thought would bring you happiness didn't, so you're leaving those behind. But it looks like your future, with these changes that you've made, there's big question marks around your future, but it also feels like the whole world is open to you. This world is lit up for me. So, the new changes or your next step or your next joy may not be in the town that you're used to. So don't limit your choices. The world really is your oyster, is what I'm feeling. But I also feel there's travel here, there's travel there. There will probably continue to be more travel in your world. So it looks like you are planning that. But you're really, really finding the balance, and you're kind of sick of just thinking about it. You're ready for the action. Wands can be fire and movement. They are fire and movement, but it's releasing some things, starting some new things, but really opening up your choices to the whole world. Maybe not just the city you live in or the city that's next door to you, but really opening the world up to you. The present time position is the 4. It's the 4 of swords. And this can be kind of a restless sleep card. You have heavy decisions or heavy things on your heart. It can mean avoiding making those decisions too, and that they're kind of seeping in your dream space and coming across as either nightmares, very telling dreams. But it also looks like some of your fears are worse than the actual. So sometimes when they mull around in our head over and over and over, they become huge. They're the big giant in the room, when really taking the first step into making those changes is not so painful. So see if you can come out of your head a little bit, Taurus, make those changes, speak those words that you've been needing to speak. But it looks like it's really disrupting your sleep patterns, whether you're sleeping too much or not enough for some of you. And the stomach area, the belt is lighting up. So you may be having a little indigestion. You may be having some digestive problems, or wanting to eat too much, not enough, things like that. But it does look like you are slowly resolving things. You're able to bring some things to the forefront. So as you bring them up and resolve them, just do one thing at a time. I think, Taurus, you get really overloaded in your head when you look at how full your plate is and look at everything, and things start to spin in your head. But if you take it one thing at a time to resolution, then look at the next one, it won't be so hard on your body. But it looks like you really take it out, all your worries you take out on your body, whether it's headaches, indigestion, stomach aches, or not being able to go to the bathroom adequately or going too much. But it looks like your body has taken a toll from a lot of the stress, and it's starting to seep in a little bit. So allow yourself to really process each thing and truly let it go. And it may be embracing some sort of release technique, whether it's yoga or meditation, praying, whatever works for you. But that give it to God kind of saying, give it to a tree, whatever works for you, Taurus. So the Empress is in the future card, and usually that means new projects, or a project that it's planting the seed, is what it's literally planting the seed and watching it grow. So it can be a zygote that you want to create, as in a baby. It could be a new idea. It could be a new business endeavor. And there is some business stuff in here. So for those of you that are not creating children, most likely it is a business endeavor, a project, a passion, an art, something that you are focusing on. So I see that you were kind of frustrated in the past that it didn't take off the way that you had anticipated it. I think that might have something to do with this as well. But now is the time to plant that garden and watch it grow, whether it is a baby, whether it is an actual garden, whether it is an idea or a passion. It looks like the ground is ready to plant that seed. It's very ripe, and your creative essence, your highest creative essence, is kind of like turned on. So now would be a good time to plant those seeds, nurture them to fruition, and see what happens. But it looks like wildest dreams time coming to the forefront, Taurus. So what is the basis of all this is the Fool. And the Fool, a lot of people think it's a negative card, kind of just like the Death card. It's really not a negative card. The Fool is the beginning of a journey. It also means take a leap of faith. He's taken a leap of faith. He's got all the faith in the world up above and all of his magic in his back pocket right there. So take a leap of faith. If two offers come to you and one is familiar, take the new road. Take the new road. And also the Moon here is kind of, it validates that. Take a leap of faith, take the new road. The Moon also is a very intrinsic card. That's one of great depth. It's kind of bringing some emotional things to the forefront, to the light. It does feel like you need to speak from the heart. This may be to a partner. This may be to a dear friend, family member, child, something like that. I don't think it's in the business realm, but it really feels like you need to bring these feelings from way out, bring them in and communicate them. They're the only way to resolve a problem is to really truly be honest with the other party. And looks like they have something to say to you too. So take a leap of faith, start that new project, start the new road. If you have the choice of an old road or a new road, take the new choice. And speak your truth from love and compassion. I think you've spent enough time in your head that you can trust in yourself and the faith that the words will come to you as you need them. Page of Cups here. As I said, there are two here on that Empress thing, so could be children. But Page of Cups is emotions. It can be messages of love. It can be engagement or wedding. So it usually is when you've taken it's a reward after taking an emotional risk. And it's right next to the Moon. So take that risk. Take that emotional risk, Taurus, and speak those words. Speak them from integrity, honesty, and authenticity. Even if your heart desire doesn't match up with the other person's heart desire, it's time to put the cards on the table. Literally, put the cards on the table. And I think making that emotional risk, you will see the rewards. Now, it may not go the way that you choose it to go or the way that the other person chooses it to go, but it feels like it will be a rewarding risk. It will be a rewarding, the outcome will be rewarding. What is next is the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles, that's a real motion card. That's a possibly going back to school card. That's gaining knowledge, gaining information, absorbing, doing research. So he's really focused on creating something and really ready to do the hard work to make those changes. I do feel a lot of changes are coming up for you in the second half. And now it's the time to really collect the information, ask all the questions, fine tune the ideas. So when it hits, you'll be ready to hit the ground running. But now it's time to gather some information. So you may be going back to school, you may be leaving school, but it's somehow you are absorbing and collecting information for these projects, for these new endeavors that you would like to do. So you have a King of Swords on one side and you have the Queen of Cups on another. And I'm feeling that this is a bit of a pull between the old and the new. Cups are emotions, that all your feels are there. Queens are exalted, coming from wisdom, coming from compassion. Queen of Cups is very wise and kind of goes with the flow, doesn't push her agenda, but also has that knowingness off the top of their head. Swords is very cerebral. Kings are also exalted. So keep your messages to yourself and to others on the highest exalted level. There may be some focus, though, from other people that have opinions on where you should be and what you should do. Or it could be encouraging you to either go back to school or to learn more or to change your profession, to do what you need to do. Actually, the Queen of Cups feels like it's a very supportive, nurturing, could be like a mother figure. And this is a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and it's feeling like mother, mentor, someone that is older than you, someone that in linear years that is older than you. So don't be afraid to ask for advice from that wise woman. It looks like she's very open and doesn't really want to steer you wrong. I see some of the opinions that have held you back in the past from asking her, but it really looks like she wants your best interest and does not have manipulation on her mind at all, that she is really open to helping and guiding you if you have some questions. This King of Swords, on the other hand, feels like, and this is an air sign. This is a Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. This is kind of the voice of reason, but sometimes this voice of reason is a little too stoic for you and doesn't want you to enjoy life. The have-tos for this person is a little bit more to the forefront of their mind, and they're actually learning how to embrace joy and passion and enjoy life a little bit more, where it looks like this Queen of Cups here does know how to go with the flow. So between the two advisors, it looks like you'll be able to find out what works best for you. But don't be afraid to ask. They are there to love, help, and support you. And it does look like it's a little bit of a make a decision time. Make a decision, or at least know what direction you want your new steps to go towards. So that is your reading, sweet Taurus, for the month of March. Let me throw some of these past life oracle cards. These are great cards. They kind of get right down to it. So we have health and female male. So you may be finding the balance in a female-male relationship, or just the balance in a relationship in general. And you know, we're kind of in a time where it's a little bit more gray area. So don't be afraid to do something more traditional female if you're in a male body, and vice versa. If you're female body, don't be afraid to try something in the female realm. It is a wonderful time now where our gender fluidity can open many, many doors. And I see that this gender fluidity somehow will benefit you, Taurus. Also, health. Release some of those traumas, release some of that overthinking stuff. I think this is very much of a validation of this. Releasing it, don't overthink it, because, you know, when we hold it in our head and in our heart too much, we don't say the words that we have to. This moon here, the Fool, speaking your words to the person that you really need to. If you don't, it will create dis-ease in your body, which is the foundation of all of our health problems, really.